Sunday night sound session with John Moore and DJ Hyphen on Cube 93.
But speaking of Block Party, there have been rumors that there might be another one in the works. I don't even know if you could speak about that if that was at all mildly true. But
my last conversation with Dave was at Erica's birthday party. And he said, alright, listen. The desert. He said, hear me out. It's like a tour of Dubai and Bahrain. But, same thing. Well, here's the catch. A 70-piece orchestra. I was like, okay. He said, just keep me a promise. I said, what? He said, I just want to hear y'all do a concert. You, Most Quali, Kanye, Tariq. Y'all just gotta rhyme over Star Wars. You were like, that's right, exactly. So
if he calls, will you make it happen?
Hell yeah. He's like, hell yeah. I mean, if he, wants to do it, let's do it.
What did I ask? I was going to ask about Tariq. All the time, you know what I'm saying? Do you see the MTV, that shit about the
I talked to two of the writers there.
Yeah, and that shit is...
They sent me apology letters.
That shit was so corny. But speaking of that, not even that, like, I don't give that any validity at all anyway, but just in terms of even if there are credible, lists assembled by half-witted journalists, people always like leave him a man off the list, like all the time. Like, what do you think it is about
people can't separate?
Why just overlooked?
People can't separate their fascination with celebrity and the actual art, and that's just with any genre of music.
Yep.
I mean, half the people I like sell under 10,000 units. I mean, to me, one of the illest MCs of all time, the whole world will never know of. This cat named Bus Driver out of LA.
He's got many bus driver stories.
He is insane. He's the most insane, wackiest, you know what I mean? But will he ever make a list? I doubt it. Paul Barman, one of my favorite MCs ever. Will he ever make a list? I don't know. I still ride for Posthumous. I don't know. I mean, it's just like...
But even those that you mentioned, like the Paul Barmans and the bus drivers of the world, are pretty out there even for hip-hop cats. But Black Thought, not necessarily... I mean, he still fits the mold.
No, he doesn't, because Tariq is really just... Tariq is the last MC that truly represents...
He's like the MC...
The era of 1988. Like, he's holding the torch for Cool G Rap, for Kane, for Master Ace. Like, his heart lies between 1986 92. You know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, his pedigree with all the early jazz stuff that we were doing sort of sets his post 93, like he wasn't rhyming like that when we first started, so thus, that's what covers him from 94 to about 2002, but pretty much 2002 on, his heart's only been with 86 to 92.
And he's absolutely murdering every single verse, but yet nobody seems to really notice. And those that do are just kind of like, yeah, he's dope, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's almost like
expected.
You know what? I posed a question to my manager once. I said, "There's one album like when we always sit and have a meeting and put the list together, like planning an album, which people don't do. They don't plan a record. Like we sit and plan it. Okay, what's this going to be like? Okay, no. We do a chart on the wall. Well, what did we do last time? Well, we never did a drum and bass song. We never did We never had guitars before. Hey, you know what? We never rhymed in 3/4 meter. We never did it. No, we did it last time. Okay, well, why don't we do it? Like, that's what we do. We talk it out. We physically look at the chart, and then we make that record. There's one album that we have not made, and I know it's going to sound crazy, but I'm actually flirting with the idea. If we ever decide to call it quits, I want to make a horrible record. I mean, I want to make a fucked up, I want to make a whack record. Because, A, everyone knows that we were doing it on purpose.
The ironic part is that people would then embrace it.
Yeah, be like,
especially
oh my God,
especially the.
I kind of think that the way our luck is. Wait, I'm gonna tell you something funny. When you deal with contracts, when we had to do the transition between Geffen and Def Jam, we technically had to turn in 16 songs to Geffen. I'm gonna be honest with you. We made that record in 3 days. That was the most fun I've ever had making a record. I'm secretly angry that we will never get to release that record.
Did anything off it ever manifest itself in stuff that was released?
No, it was like we called it the 10-minute rule. There's an album out there by the Roots called the 10-minute rule. It's 16 songs. And the beat, the challenge. Make a beat in 5 minutes. To read, just write 3 verses. Environment, whatever comes to your head, do it. It's not political. It's not trying. It's just. By the time we got to song number 5, me and Rich were secretly getting mad. Like, yo, why is this shit better than like all of our shit? Like, it's just mindless. And then I was like, well, shit. You think like we're overthinking like a lot of our things? But I mean, I feel like our career is that of a landmine, and one false step. And it's curtains. That's why we have to be so serious. I think people think that we're so serious that we actually squeeze the whatever fun they think we're supposed to be having out of our shit. But there's always going to be that in the back of my mind sort of thought of, I wonder if we just made an album without giving it 1 ounce of thought.
So what would the single be? Do you have one in mind?
You guys could do that though. I mean, because honestly, your legacy is already solidified in terms of like.
But the thing is that there's this double standard thing going on that will allow us to do certain things and not allow us to do certain things. And that's when I realized that it's never about the song. See, I used to think, oh, well, if you do a song that sounds like, okay, this is what when we do a song, we get to sing this hook. We get big ass star A-list to do this song. Or one we call to help guest on this song. Hey, you want to? Hey, Jay, want to? Hey, Beyonce, can you do it? Like, I used to think that was it. And then it hit me that it's really about, it's not about the song, it's about the lifestyle. And do they buy it? So thus, let's say Don't Say Nothing, for instance. A song that we caught flack for, but if done by anyone else, would have been like, oh,
a hit.
Right.
Got storage on the beat.
But then people were like, well, that doesn't feel like the Roots. And I'm like, well, what feels like the Roots? And if we, like, I'm talking about radio programmers saying, oh, this doesn't feel like the Roots. And I'm like, well, when we gave you shit that felt like the Roots, you weren't playing. So now we have to do what you want us to do. Well, feel like the Roots. Okay, well, here's Star then. Oh, I can't play this. Why?
It's too much like the Roots.
It feels like the Roots. Right, exactly. That's when, at that point, then I realized, like, oh.
I mean, they weren't going to play you to begin with. It didn't matter what you gave.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's where it's at.
That leads me back to the whole, we felt like we had nothing to